opinionated. Today's topic is we'll discuss the recent comment by the US State Department about the alleged India's involvement in a plot of killing a Khalistani known as Gurpan Singh Pannu. And more importantly, a Washington Post editorial that is extremely critical of India and its alleged attempt in the same assassination plot. And why I felt it's important in doing this episode is because I want to call out the hypocrisy of United States and Washington Post, especially in the case where there is the alleged Indian external intelligence involvement in this plot of assassinating a known terrorist whose name is Gurpan Singh Pannu, who lives sometimes in the United States and sometimes in Canada as a dual citizen, right? And I'll contrast that with what United States does. So, just to set up some context, earlier or late 2023, it was made public that the United States was investigating a case where some intelligence agent from India paid off somebody living in United States to murder Gurpan Singh Pannu. But the person who was paid off was actually a hidden FBI agent. And they started investigating, and they are claiming that there's an alleged Indian involvement and they need India's support, or they want India to come clean in this attempt to kill Gurpan Singh Pannu. Now, I can actually sympathize and support this, right? Because it is not a right thing to do extrajudicial killing. If you have proof and evidence, you actually must work through the diplomatic channels and ensure that this person gets extradited to your country. You must fight it through the court and legal system. If United States doesn't extradite this person, then there are other means in which you can actually apply pressure, right? So you can do tit for tat. If the United States is trying to extradite somebody from India, you don't do that, and you work out but you do it diplomatically. I don't support extrajudicial killings unless the person involved causes serious threat to the security scenario in India. For example, Hafiz Saeed, who's living in Pakistan right now, who's known to kill thousands of people and will continue to kill hundreds of people in India. His direct and indirect actions. And Pakistan has refused to hand him over after India has given enough proof. Even after India has given enough proof, such situations, however, warrant or may warrant in trying to eliminate them, right? Because if you do not, and there are no other mechanisms available, your citizens would be at a threat, and you have to sacrifice more life because of this person. So there are those rare exceptions, like how US killed Osama bin Laden, right? I can completely understand that. But the rest, if you are a person who has threatened killing of people, or who has maybe funded, secessionist movement in India, or who has known to have terrorist connections, I don't think extrajudicial killing is the right answer. Now, having said that, I wanted to contrast this with what US does and how Washington Post reports on that. So I'll try to bring you the story of, now you might already know this, that maybe 5-6 years ago, there was this known terrorist, Anwar al-Awlaki, in Yemen, I mean, who deserved to die, by the way? Like, he was a really bad guy. Okay. But this dude had a child uh, who was still a child who was a United States citizen. He used to live in India, United States. And this child had traveled to Yemen to see his father. Now, the series of events works out in a way where, you know, United States sends some drone to kill the senior al-Awlaki. 2 weeks later, when this child is actually mourning the death of his father, Abdul Rahman al-Alwaki, United States actually goes and bombs the shit out of him as well. United States, I mean, look how important this is and how much attention it deserves. United States goes and kills its own citizen who is a minor in Yemen, who has not committed terrorist offenses, who is not a known terrorist, not a known, has not committed any acts of violence, goes and kills this child. That's it. Like, just go and bomb the hell out of him. Just because his dad happened to be a terrorist, United States killed him as well. I'll give you an example of another person. Uh, his name is Said Chamag. Okay. Now, this also happened like maybe 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. Said Chamag was a reporter of Reuters. Now, he was reporting in Iraq. Now, as you can understand, reporting in Iraq is pretty dangerous, right? So you have to, you know, go and report on so many terrorism, so much violence. There was ISIS. Nevertheless, he was risking his life and reporting in Iraq. No terrorist connection, no known um, acts of violence he has committed, right? Reuters did a background check on him and he was reporting for them. So this dude starts, he's driving down in Baghdad one day and US goes and bombs this car. The car is blown to smithereens. This guy is like gravely wounded, almost about to die. And there was this passerby with his child, passerby had a child and he was like going in a car. He sees that this Reuters reporter is, dying on the ground and needs urgent care, medical help. So this guy goes and tries to help him, takes this guy to his car, and wants to go to a hospital to save this innocent reporter, right? And you know what United States does? It goes and bombs this guy, the good Samaritan who is trying to help another innocent person. It goes and kills this person and his child as well. And what is the State Department response? Well, bad things happen. We need to do what we need to do. Now, in India's case, Gurpant Singh Pannu is known to call for acts of violence. We don't know whether he has himself done it or not, but we know that he threatens of bombing planes, he threatens of killing Hindus, he threatens of assassinations in India. We know he's like a crazy bad dude, right? I'm not saying he should be killed, but contrast an alleged plot on killing him to United States actually killing innocent people and its own citizens. And the response is shit happens. Now, of course, I can expect that from the State Department, but Washington Post, I'm sure they would have come down hard on the State Department, right? They would have come and said, well, this is not acceptable. We will hold the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, and maybe even the President accountable. And you know what kind of article they come up with? Their article's headline is: the US keeps killing Americans in drone strikes by accident. Oh, it's just an accident, right? No apology, no holding anybody accountable. That is what I have a problem with. If the establishment media is impartial, they would hold the same yardstick for United States, for United Kingdom, for Israel, for India, and everybody else. But that's exactly why I call these people establishment media, because they will not hold the US government, the US establishment accountable for their actions. But they will use a different yardstick for every other country in the world. And that's where India has to be very careful and counter these people. People who have some voice in social media, the External Affairs Ministry, they must stand to counter, and even Indian media as well. If Washington Post becomes the establishment media of United States government, like a paid extension, right, to spread American influence, Indian media should perhaps copy the same. So when US does something, there should be front page articles and editorials in Indian media that should call out the atrocities that the United States has committed. Now, if you do not come up with, counter a negative voice with a positive voice, a irrational voice with a rational voice, then I'm afraid that such kind of negative coverage would stick and spread like a virus. That's all for my episode. Please like and subscribe. Namaste and Jai Hind.